Welcome to the Moosehead Marine Museum. The heart of the museum is the steamship Katahdin, which has been a fixture on Moosehead Lake since 1914, when she was introduced to the lake along with 40-plus other boats transporting people and supplies up and down the lake to Mount Kineo from Greenville Junction.
The vessel that I am in charge of was built in 1914 by the Bath Iron Works. It is one of 5 steam vessels, original steam vessels that ply the lake then with no rows. And the people living around the lake and the businesses, the resorts, were very much dependent on lake travel.
The Katahdin was built by Bath Iron Works and assembled here in Greenville. The junction is where people would arrive by train and go up the lake for the better part of the summer to escape heat and pollution of the cities like Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Keep in mind that there was very little, if any, air conditioning at that time, and they would come to enjoy the cool, refreshing, crisp, clean air and all that the lake region had to offer, like fantastic fishing, swimming in pristine waters, relaxing, canoeing, spectacular views of the western mountains of Maine, and endless hiking possibilities. Most would stay at the luxurious Mount Kineo Hotel that could seat up to 400 people at a time for gourmet dining, which included wild game from the local area, fresh fish, and vegetables grown on Farm Island was just a mile or 2 from the Kineo Hotel. Then, with the advent of the Great Depression, the vacationing/resort business dropped off dramatically, and the Kate became a workboat in the late 30s, hauling log booms to East Outlet to float logs down to Kennebec, where they would be transformed to paper, plywood, and other wood products. She was also repowered from steam to diesel in 1922. She remained a workboat until 1976, when it was determined that booming logs on the lake polluted the lake and was environmentally unfriendly, and in some cases unsightly, when logs drifted onto the 600-plus miles of shoreline around Moosehead Lake and the islands. Originally, wood that went through the sluice at East Outlet were log length, but as more dams were introduced to the Kennebec River, logs eventually had to be cut up to 4-foot lengths before going through the sluice. They would actually run 500 cord of wood through the sluice in a 20-hour period. That's a lot of wood. The trough of the sluiceway was 160 feet long, and then the logs would fall another 400 feet into the Kennebec River, 20 hours per day. At the time of log booming, workers would live in logging camps 3 to 6 months in winter and spring. In 1954, it is estimated that a record 300,000 cord of wood was run down the Kennebec River. Fortunately, a consortium of forward-thinking local citizens and business people had the vision and foresight to save the Kate and turn her into the tourist attraction that she is today, being the centerpiece of the Moosehead Marine Museum, a project which is ongoing, growing, and continually evolving. In 2011, the Kate boarded almost 7,300 passengers from late June to early October. These lake cruisers came from 44 states, 18 countries from around the world, coming from as far away as Fiji, the Marshall Islands, and Nigeria. 55% of the ridership comes from Maine. When booming stopped in 1976, workers became commuters, now that they didn't live in logging camps, and huge logging trucks crowded the then narrow road. Keep in mind that this was all happening during the 1970s energy crisis, when diesel prices jumped from 79 cents a gallon to an estimated $2.35 a gallon adjusted for inflation. According to Great Northern paper officials, this raised the cost of delivering wood from the sluice to the mill from 15 cents per cord to $6 per cord overnight. In the year that booming stopped, it is estimated that 1,600 cord of wood was recovered from 600 miles of shoreline on the lake. Hardwood lake bottom harvesting is still going on in the lake today. The Katahdin used to boom 4,000 to 4,500 cord per trip. Captaining the boat took very special skills to control forward motion, especially in a nasty north wind condition. Putting the brakes on could also be a very nerve-wracking procedure. Today, as you can see, the Kate performs a very different but also very special role, transporting people up and down the lake to view all of the region's spectacular and natural beauty, also helping individuals, groups celebrate everything from corporate retreats, weddings, fundraisers for various nonprofit organizations, Girl Scout and Boy Scout outings, rock and roll cruises, and affording people with special needs access to nature's natural splendor without having to navigate over difficult terrain. In the fall of 2010, the Kate started taking on about 700 gallons of water per day. This video shows a short clip of divers inspecting her 110-foot bottom for leaks and other potential damage or wear. After a 2.5-hour search, several holes were found, and divers put a temporary epoxy-like fix that should get her through this sailing season. As can be seen on the video, divers also found several other rust spots that have started after 17 years of submersion to the elements since their last repair in 1994. The bottom line is that the Katahdin needs her bottom overhauled and that the keel needs to be replaced, which will require a haul out, a huge expense in and of itself, sandblasting to remove old paint and bottom crud, old keel removal and replacement, and new bottom paint and relaunch. Were she plying the coastal waters, haul out and relaunch would be a non-issue, as Maine has several well-qualified and equipped boat yards that could easily pull this boat out of the water. But there are no boat yards or shipyards on Moosehead Lake capable of lifting a 110-foot vessel with 28 feet of beam weighing 220 tons. As you can see from this video taken in 1994, when the Kate's bottom was last repaired, this is a very substantial undertaking. The bottom at that time had to be replated with 5/4-inch steel. Both BIW and Chenbro Corporation contracted to do the work. They also used local craftsmen and technicians to work along with their workforce to complete the job. In 2012, we planned to dry dock the ship on a series of connected, specially designed barges, several of which are in the center, are designed to be lowered into the lake, at which time the Katahdin can be maneuvered into the middle of said barges. The lock doors will be closed and the water pumped out in the center of the barges, leaving the Kate high and dry. Cost estimates for this job run between $450,000 and $500,000. So far, we have been able to raise $200,000 for her bottom repair. That leaves about $300,000 that needs to be raised before fall.
Preview. Preview, 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 preview. Preview, preview, preview. Preview, preview, preview. Preview, preview, preview. Preview, preview.